Welcome to SaaS Reality, a podcast where two budding founders talk about their businesses. Join Simon and Dean to find out what it really takes to build, launch, and run a SaaS product. Morning, Dean.
Morning, Simon. Good to be back.
Yeah, how you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. Family stuff out the way now. That's all done and dusted.
Mm-hmm.
Back from 2 days in London, which was it's always pretty intense when I go down there to the main office for the day job.
The day job.
Yeah, and it was a Monday night out with a client as well, so still recovering.
Exciting. That's the only reason you went, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so not bad. Yeah, quiet week on the product side though, but I have started something. I think I mentioned last time that because of the way I mentally work, I started planning out the front end, wireframing almost, but straight in HTML. So.
Oh yeah, I remember now. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I was going to wireframe in Balsamic because generally just do that and think through the processes and the stories and stuff. But I got myself a nice template, changed templates from the last one, and just building it out in HTML just to work through processes. And it's coming along slow this week, but hopefully tonight, tomorrow, over the weekend, I'm going to have some more time. So
cool. When do I get to see these?
Probably
straight after this call, I hope.
The weekend.
Yeah.
It's really hard presenting lots of data well.
It is, yeah.
It's really hard.
Signal and noise ratios, right?
Yeah. So props to all the designers out there that produce some good interfaces because it's not an easy thing to do.
I thought about you yesterday when I was in a work AWS account and I noticed that there was a T2 Nano that was just sat there that was created for a process months ago. And still sat there doing nothing.
Ta-da. Yeah, but for a T2 Nano, it's not worth spending $49 or $99 a month.
Absolutely not. No, it's not even worth the time to go and shut it down. But yeah. But I just thought of you when it was there. Maybe if we had 100 of them all sat there just doing nothing every month. But
yeah, it's the 4x large multi-AZ RDS server you want to catch.
Yeah.
So and it happens all the time. I see it so often. Just got to be a simple tool to just catch those things. The reserved instance stuff that I'm struggling with at the moment, that's hard. That is really hard. But
what to calculate the right number and stuff, all the recommendations.
Yeah, because it's not a one-to-one mapping. So if you have like a T2 medium reserved instance, for example, that can count against two T2 smalls.
Oh, can it really?
Yeah.
I had no idea. It doesn't work like that with RDS, does it?
Yes, I believe it does.
Really?
I will confirm that and get back to you.
Is that just because you're literally reserving the capacity on a server? You're not reserving. So if two instances fit in one instance, that's...
Yeah, reserved instances aren't instances. They're just like a payment contract.
Okay.
So you're buying set capacity. So it's like renting
you're literally
a house.
Renting some CPU and renting some RAM, and then you're good.
It's like renting a house with 3 bedrooms.
Yeah.
And you can put a server in each bedroom if it fits, sort of thing.
Ah, fair enough. I did not know that. Okay, that makes things a bit more complicated, doesn't it?
It's so difficult to find clear information about RIs as well. It might just be convertible instances.
Yeah.
I know. I think it's a fairly recent thing, as in under a couple of years old, that they've done this. So.
I noticed when I looked at the spot pricing recently, it's completely different to what it was years and years ago, but definitely a lot cheaper.
They're constantly changing stuff, and credit to Amazon. The prices are coming down. The T3s came in, and they're cheaper for same price, but you get more CPU and memory.
So unrelated to your product, let's say I've got a CI process server running drone.
Mm-hmm.
To get the maximum CPU performance, what at a reasonable price, what EC2 server should I be looking at?
It's not processing all the time, is it?
No.
Something like a T3, probably. I don't know what drones requirements are, but something with burstable CPU credits, the T series.
Okay. Is the T series like the maximum comparable to like a C? Is it a C5D?
The T series has burstable CPU credits. So you're allowed X number of CPU credits per 24-hour period. So if you're not using it, you build those credits up and then you can use them all in a burst.
Okay. What we actually have as of yesterday is at 8:30 in the morning, we request a spot instance for basically the day.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end of the day, or the end of the working day, we close the server down.
Yeah. I was going to say the other thing is to have scheduled instances as well. So they spin up and spin down.
Yeah. So obviously we're getting like a $1 an hour server, like 27 cents an hour.
Yeah. And
hopefully.
And
just get bid out.
Well, if you can get an M5 or whatever on a spot instance for dirt cheap, then do that because you've got the CPU capacity.
I was just wondering, like, whether,
Yeah, you need to look at the workload. If the CPU's just lots of small spikes through the day, but spread out nicely, then a T-series could probably work out even cheaper. Although, again, it depends. It depends on capacity in the availability zones. If there's high demand for the T-series and your spot instance fails, then you could end up paying more than an M5 spot instance. So it all depends on the capacity in the data center, basically. So
cool. We're probably boring people now, anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was your week then. Basically, you did a little bit of, or you started to look at more.
Yeah, I mean, with the funeral and having family up all weekend, still didn't get a lot done. So it's got some done, but not much.
Cool.
How's Automaily coming along? How many signups have you had?
3. No actual, I'd say, activations yet.
All right. So is that 3 excluding me?
Yes, it is, yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, you haven't activated, I noticed.
No, I went to yesterday, but then work happened. So I'll probably have a play about over the weekend.
Yeah, like looking at the traffic numbers compared to the number of people who've signed up, even though they haven't done anything, they're kind of quite high percentages. So that's at least a good positive to take away. I have to just wait until see if anyone activates. I've just been adding features like crazy though. So I think possibly in a week's time, maybe a couple of weeks' time, I should be able to take stock, fix, like update the marketing site to reflect basically how it works now and start pushing.
Right.
This week I've been working on a feature for someone who, like, this was the one feature that was missing for them, which was to do with broadcasting notifications like doing campaigns. So that's basically done now. You can create a segment, you can add filters, basically the same as the conditions in workflows. Like, does this customer have a card? Does this customer on this plan? Does their metadata equal this? Like, for example, have they connected 10 droplets in a Snapshooter instance? And then you can template an email exactly the same and send that off to, all 10 people or however many people, sorry.
Yeah.
So that's basically done. Like it works. I had to build a whole unsubscribe system, which I didn't think about, but obviously I need.
Well, build these things as you need them, really, don't you? Otherwise, you'll be coding forever.
Yeah, so I also had to add SES back in. I had it originally. I removed it in favor of Postmark. But for this marketing stuff, I don't want to currently use Postmark for it. Even though they do have an API that's coming out that's in like closed beta that supports this kind of bulk emailing. I wanted to look at SES. They support, using their words, grey emails. So somewhere between marketing and transactional, where the broadcasting tool could literally just be used for marketing crap. So I didn't want to risk it. And also it's way cheaper. So so I've added that in with the unsubscribe stuff. So it's not very smart. You can't really gain any insights about unsubscription yet, but it works. Adding the SES stuff works. It's just polishing off that feature and that'll be done. And then the last thing I want to do around SES is just make sure that on a workflow, some workflows are more transactional emailing than others. So, for example, a card failed workflow, you could say all the emails in that workflow are transactional. Where an onboarding workflow, you could say that the first email that's sent could be transactional, but after that point, you're kind of getting into like a marketing realm.
Yeah.
I'm just adding like limits on each workflow for how many transactional emails you can send. So the onboarding one, I limit you to 1, and then every other email in that workflow will count as marketing. It just means I use a different email provider. But yeah, it's getting a little bit complicated.
Got to protect sending reputation.
Yeah, exactly. So if you send one email to say like, welcome, blah, 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 you send that within like 10 minutes of them signing up. That's all great. But if you're like 2 weeks later recommending feature upgrades, that's a grey area email at that point. So let's just send it via SES, which, excluding what everyone said online, I don't think their sending reputation is that bad if you're careful.
Yeah, I think
hopefully I get to the point where I could buy a pool of IPs and just do SES myself.
Yeah, I think the more trustworthy, the better your delivery rates through SES. I think something happens behind the scenes there, and you're moved into a better neighborhood.
Yes, I imagine so. So
yeah, I'm sure I saw something about that somewhere. And once your number of outgoing emails increases as well, then you're kind of separated from the mass unclean.
Yeah. So, and then the other thing I've been reading about is you can get dedicated IPs once you can sort of guarantee that your delivery rate is constant. If you know that you're going to be sending like on average 200 emails an hour, or for example, without peaks and troughs and stuff, you should be able to then get your own dedicated IP and manage it all yourself.
Right. Yeah.
Which I have to consider.
Yeah, just hope it's a fresh IP that no one's tainted beforehand.
Oh, yeah, hopefully.
It's so hard, this stuff, isn't it? So,
email, yeah, that's probably why these email providers have done quite well.
Yeah.
For years, I managed my own email server.
So, how's the thing on positioning? How are you feeling about all of that?
I'm feeling better. I haven't tackled it. Laying in bed at 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock, trying to go to sleep, thinking about what I'm going to do with the marketing site, the landing site, and I've got ideas. So I think the first thing is to add a hell of a lot more material on the landing site.
Mm-hmm.
I've got Hotjar installed, and I can see people clicking around, and people just press the features button hundreds of times and just get slid to a section on the site because it's a single page at the moment.
Yeah.
With a small block. So I think they clearly want to know more about the product. I'm not really portraying that correctly. So
sounds that's where you want to make it into more of a squeeze page as well to feed them into signing up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I want to basically put every feature on a separate page, make that part of like a workflow. I've got a whole idea for videos. I think some videos explaining how it would work would probably, especially in my case, explain what it does a lot better than I could in words. And really visualize it. So
that's the thing with Automaily. It's really hard to succinctly explain what it does, but once you see it and once you understand it, it's great. But yeah.
So I guess the other thing is I'm really bringing 3-4 features to the table. Most systems bring one feature to the table. Like your feature is reducing your AWS cost.
Mm-hmm.
As a general whole, Snapshooter is just taking backups of DigitalOcean. There's kind of onboarding, there's fail payments, blah, blah, and I just need to separate them into their own features. So Automaily is a 3 solution. There's 3 different solutions you can get with Automaily to SaaS problems, and kind of sell them separately as well as together.
Yeah, sort of treat
at least on the
feature,
marketing side. Yeah.
Treat each feature as a little microsite almost for people interested in that.
Yep.
That feature track most, you can just feed them down into a little microsite, can't you? The content specifically.
And I think more education around things just on the failed payment page, actually explain how to do a good failed payment recovery program, whether you then decide to use Automaily because you've got to the bottom and you think, oh, that's a lot of code.
Yeah, this is a good recommended process, and this is how you do it in Automaily. Click, 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 done.
Yeah, precisely. So,
just going to ask if you thought any more how you're going to get your first 10 customers. Sorry to put you on the spot here.
To people listening, the editors probably removed a very long pause.
Now, I just had a bit of an idea and thought I'd run this by you.
Mm-hmm.
You run Snapshooter with a couple of hundred customers?
Yeah, you're going to tell me to contact the SaaS businesses on Snapshooter?
Yeah. You've thought of this already?
Yeah, only yesterday, but yeah, I think there's probably about 10 customers on Snapshooter that are actually SaaS businesses. So just need to kind of vet them through, probably just whip them through Built With to see if they've got Stripe or whatever. And then, yeah, I'll email them.
Yeah, because you already have a good relationship with them.
Yeah.
They're already paying you for something.
I wouldn't say I'm kind of in this limbo stage, right, where I'm trying to get some features out that I think are quite key for getting stuff working. Like you can't count your eggs, but I've got one person waiting on this broadcast feature, which is almost done. So hopefully in the next sort of week, they'll start looking at it. Now, I know it's difficult to get someone who runs a SaaS business to actually commit to start using a new tool. It's kind of a bit of a time investment. But and then I've got someone else who said that they use Baremetrics for churn recovery, and they don't like it. However, they do like one feature of Baremetrics, which they wouldn't leave without having. So I need to get to like feature parity of having a billing page that's hosted on their site. So that's like another feature. So I'm kind of in a limbo stage of like, how hard do I push with marketing when I've got, in theory, I've got 3-4 people waiting for features.
Yeah, I guess if you feel that you're still too much at a disadvantage in terms of feature set, then you've just got to plow on. You've launched. You could take people on now if you need to.
Yeah.
If the 2 features that you mentioned are fairly quick to get done, relatively speaking, then do it.
Yeah. Well, the broadcasting one is almost finished. So it's just the billing page, which I'm not sure how relatively quick it is to get done because it involves hosting.
Yeah, it does sound quite key though, that one.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's the one that all 3 competitors have. So they do it slightly differently. So Churn Busters give you a HTML page, which I'm not keen on, and people aren't keen on. I think Baremetrics hosts a page for you, but it's on, I can't remember. I've got it written all down somewhere. There's like different ways of doing it. So basically, to be any good, it has to be in the control of the customer. So it has to be like billing.cloudinsights.com or whatever. It can't be cloudinsights.automaily.com. Just can't happen. It has to be SSL, obviously, which adds a layer of complexity with getting SSL certificates.
Yeah, let's not talk about Caddy. Hey?
No, I looked at Caddy and I'm sure it's a wonderful solution. It's just I'm not confident. I couldn't even get Caddy to compile on AWS. So without installing Ubuntu or something on EC2, it was just not happening. So I don't know why. So I've decided to go with AWS certificates and then put them all through a load balancer and just suck the cost of that up in terms of reliability.
Yeah, I'd like to dig into that and see how you've done all that once you've got it set up.
Yeah, I don't think it should be too bad. I just need a load balancer that I share between 20 customers because you can only have 25 certificates per load balancer. So push them all onto there and then, 25 people share a load balancer, which will probably all just point to the same target servers.
Yeah, just got to build that into your costs, haven't you, really?
Yeah, it's like, I think you're basically looking at $19 a load balancer. So if only you could get more than 25 certificates.
Yes. I don't know whether you can request a service limit increase for that or whether that's a hard limit.
That's a hard limit. You can request more load balancers per region.
Yeah.
But you can't request more certificates per.
That's crappy.
I guess there's a reason. It gets a bit ridiculous for a server to be serving that many different SSL certificates depending on domain or whatever. So I just need to automate it. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, going back to positioning. I had a thought. I know you're struggling with why would people use Automaily instead of rolling their own solution. And I know you've spoken to some smaller SaaSs that have more time than money and they're kind of implementing in-house self-written stuff, which probably isn't anywhere near the power of Automaily, but it will get them by.
Yeah.
And I thought back to the good old days of the early web, and we didn't have logging services back then, and everybody used to just write their own log files. All right. So why do people use logging services now? How have they positioned? And maybe you could look at them and how they've got people to use their logging service instead of just rolling their own, because most frameworks these days have logging built in.
Yes.
But why would you pay for an external login service? What's the benefit? I don't know whether there's any comparison there with Automaily, but it's maybe something to look at for some ideas of your positioning and your messaging.
Yeah, I guess with all those things, it's a case of, you could say the same question, why do people use S3 for file storage instead of part of their application now? It's just, one, it allows for scalability or whatever, and then on the other hand, or, boxes you can terminate. On the other hand, it's just one less thing to worry about, isn't it?
Mm.
It's handled somewhere else. So maybe I need to sort of pry onto that side. It's like, well, there's one less thing to worry about. We'll handle email reputation and delivery rates and getting these emails out at the right time. You don't need to worry about any of that. Like, that was one of my thoughts really when I built it, was for like a SaaS business like you, if you use Automaily, there's a shit ton of code you don't need to write.
Exactly. I have no plans to build that sort of stuff into Cloud Insights.
Yeah, you don't even need to write the onboarding stuff. You just need to update your Stripe customers with some metadata that's relevant. So,
As a one-man business, I've got enough on my plate writing my application logic.
Yeah.
If I can plug into Automaily that will handle all that chasing of failed payments and your card's about to expire and all that for me, that's something I don't have to do. That's a virtual assistant I don't have to pay for and manage and keep track of. And I know a virtual assistant might be $5 a month or whatever, but to do that, and Automaily might be $20 a month. But actually, that $5 a month is just for that person's time. You've probably then got half an hour to an hour of my time making sure they've done their job. And that's worth a lot more than $19. So, I'm on the Automaily bandwagon straight away.
Quick point, don't bother sending emails about card expires.
Right, okay.
It's just not worth it nowadays.
No, how come?
Probably about 95% of cards update themselves.
Right, okay.
So if you send one in advance, you're actually confusing people. If you just leave it, generally they kind of Stripe will automatically update the card in contact with the bank or whatever. So it's almost easier just to wait for it to fail if that hasn't happened.
Okay.
And then deal with the churn process instead of emailing everyone and confusing them that, why did they update their card? They didn't log in.
Pro tip, don't send early expiry emails for cards.
Yeah. I guess this all forms part of the help docs.
Yeah, well, that's a great blog post. That's some great content there you could write up.
Yep, let me write that down.
How to handle expiring cards. Why you shouldn't send an early reminder.
Yeah, why you shouldn't send pre-dunning pre-dunning ones. Yeah, there's a whole load of like industry advice around payment failures. So I guess this was going to form the big part of that page. I was going to have a whole page on about failed payments, how to handle it, how to do it properly, and how to do it in Automaily. And so click here just to get it done.
And the failed payments thing, and you have your overview page, and you could probably spin off another 5 or 6 pages from there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
for individual issues around failed payments.
I'll get these features done, and then I'll probably spend like a month on the landing site.
Yeah.
Which I guess isn't a landing site anymore, is it? It's like a marketing site.
Exactly. Yeah. So,
cool. So that's basically what I'll be doing for this week. I'll be finishing off the broadcasting, the deciding whether an email is marketing or transactional. Hopefully people won't abuse that. And then this damn hosting. I'll have to let everyone know next week how hosting your own billing page for someone else goes.
Yeah, I'm really interested to dig into
in
that.
The DNS section, there's already like 6-7 DNS entries I need you to put in. So it's going to be like another 2 if you want a hosted page.
Well, if you want a guinea pig that's outside of your circle, just let me know and we can set up billing.cloudinsights.app.
Yeah, that'd be good. Cool. Is there anything else to add?
I'm going to see what I can get done. It's kind of clear my head time now. We've had the funeral. Family's gone home. Got to get back to normal, get back on track. So we'll see where we end up next week when we chat. See what I can get done. I need to push forward. I need to make some progress this week because it's really, really getting to me. Yeah,
you feel better about it.
Yeah, but the pressure that's lifted at home is unbelievable. So we'll see.
Cool.
Okay.
Thank you for listening to the SaaS Reality podcast. Why not head over to saasreality.com and become part of our community? You can send questions and comments to podcast@saasreality.com. We didn't answer that question, did we? And we'll do our best to answer them. Someone sent us a question on LinkedIn, didn't they? Next week, we'll definitely address it next week. I'm sorry. And we'd really appreciate some reviews on iTunes, because at the moment we don't have any showing up yet because we don't have enough. So
yes, give us those reviews, please.
Yeah, please. I think I've got to leave one myself.
You can be honest.
Yeah. So yeah, cool. I'll catch you next week, Dean.
Okay, Simon. Cheers. Good luck.
Yeah. Have a good week.
And you. Bye.